Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Smack. I'm Bob Gray, and what I'm doing every morning is I'm bringing some of the most interesting people from around the globe, whether they be actors, comedians, politicians, doctors, cryptozoologists. It could be an array of people that you might want to hear what they have to say. It's not about me, although my name's up, so it kind of is about me. My first guest today is a young man I met about, I don't know, 11, 10 years ago. When I was living in Los Angeles on the weekends, I would teach sailing. I did private sailing instruction, and I had a little Craigslist ad. And one of the fellows that signed up for the Craigslist sailing lessons was a man named James Evenson. And he showed up with his girlfriend. We went on the sailing lessons. We became fast friends. James went on to do some amazing things in the world of sailing. He is now sailing around the world, all around the world. And you're going to meet him right now. So from Costa Rica, on his boat, the shores of Costa Rica, ladies and gentlemen, my friend James Evenson. Hello, James. Good morning.
Hi, guys. Good morning, Bob.
There. Hey, good to see you again.
Thanks, man. You too. It's been more than 11 years, man. I think it's been about 14.
Impossible.
Yeah.
But it's been a long time. And we got along great. In fact, for a while there, we had our boats side by side. We were both living on boats there. We saw each other all the time. You and that big dog.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Bo. Yeah, big Bo. And James had a gigantic. What was that? Was that a Rottweiler?
Roddy, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had a big. And I remember you had me babysit him one night. You had to go somewhere, so Bo was on my boat, and the dog weighed probably 120, 130 pounds,
Yeah.
something like that. And in a boat, you've got very little bunks. They're very skinny and small. And Bo was trying to get in there and sleep with me constantly. And I let him up there for a while, but it was just too much. I eventually, he was a good boy, wasn't he? Great dog.
Yeah, I spoiled that dog. He slept with me on my boat, my
Yeah,
little Catalina 27. Oh, man, I miss him. I haven't thought of him for a while. Thanks for that.
Yeah, you took that dog everywhere. That dog was always with you in your van, driving to work.
Mm-hmm.
He was cool. Anyhow, so what James has done is, oh God, what was it, about 5 to 7 years ago? You ended up getting yourself a catamaran down in St. Pete.
7 years. Yep.
7 years. You bought a catamaran, and you were down in St. Petersburg, Florida. And nothing's working on my thing today. Let's get rid of this. And you decided that you were going to go on a sailing adventure, just crazy adventure that quite personally, I at the time when you told me you were sailing from St. Petersburg, Florida to Cuba, I was worried about it. And I said, dude, I've only given you 3 lessons. You're going to sail to, I thought that was, like, in my mind, crazy, because I'm a sprint sailor. You wanted to be a distance sailor. You made it to Cuba, and from there, you went everywhere. Tell the folks at home some of the adventures that you've had.
Well, first of all, I'm on anchor right now in Herradura Bay in Costa Rica. So the boat's moving, so this might make you a little seasick watching me.
Yeah.
I can't do anything about it, so sorry about that. But yeah, after I met Bob, I had a few different boats. I was kind of trading up and trying to, every time I got a new boat, it'd be a little bit bigger, and I was trying to find a cruising boat, and my dream was to go cruising. I never had a real dream of like circumnavigating or anything. I still don't really. But since then, Bob, I've gone about 60,000 miles. And when I found, the first time I found my cruising boat, I was in Marina del Rey. Did you ever see that Morgan that I had?
Yes, I remember the 41-foot Morgan.
Yeah, I thought that was my boat. Like I was gonna cruise around the world on that thing, and I just didn't know anything. It's funny that when you're young and you're new at this, that you can make such a bad decision. But I paid a lot more money than the boat was worth, and then I put a lot of money into it, and then I realized later, like, oh, this boat sucks. It doesn't sail well. It's got a shoal draft and a long keel, and it's big and fat. It was like sailing a brick.
Yeah, that was. I honestly, at the time when you got that boat, you were so excited about it, and I was like,
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I thought, but Why ruin your dreams? You were living on it too. Now, as far as a liveaboard, there was a ton of room on that boat. That was a
Yeah, it
big
was
boat
great
to
for a
live on.
dock clean. Yeah.
Yeah,
Those boats were made to be charter boats.
yeah.
But, for a boat to sail correctly, it needs a tall mast and a long keel, and that helps it go upwind. And it seems like I'm sailing upwind like 90% of the time. It's weird.
So you start going around. You're in the Caribbean. You're all over the place, and you ended up meeting a young German girl. She started sailing with you, and the two of you started documenting your adventures in every port that you went to, and you started posting these YouTube shows on, and your YouTube channel has taken off. You're considered a celebrity sailor now. People all around the globe are watching your adventures, including my neighbors next door who
Oh,
want
that's
to.
fun.
Yeah, they want to do what you're doing. I tell them, no way. You people are far too stupid to do that, and they'll die for sure. But
Oh man, I think anybody can have this skill set. Anybody can cultivate it.
no, these people have the mental acuity of a potato. They'll die. I'm doing them a favor by being brutally honest, because when you're at sea, anything can happen, and if you're 4 or 5,000 miles off the coast, there's no Napa auto store that's going to run a part out to you in the middle of the ocean. You have to be prepared for that, and you have to have some sort of mechanical and fix-it ability, let's just say.
Well, yeah, okay. So you do need that, but I never finished high school. I'm not like the smartest cookie in the jar, but I mean, I do it. I think having some kind of acuity to repair things underway and kind of jerry rig things and figure out how things work so you can use what you have at hand. You kind of got to be a MacGyver.
And let's go back to that. You didn't finish high school, okay, which is the first time I'm hearing. But you got out of high school, ended up going into the Navy.
That's right.
And you became a navigator on a nuclear sub for a kid with no high school education.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. What were the qualifications to be a navigator in a nuclear sub?
Obviously not very much.
How did they pick you? Seriously, how did they pick you? What did they see in you that thought, one, this guy won't go crazy underneath the water for months on end, and two, he might be a good guy to point us in the right direction, this billion-dollar nuclear sub?
Well, I didn't start out as a navigator. I started out as I started out as the guy that smashes the trash. and worked up from there. Really, I'm serious. That's a true story. And I had to qualify 12 different watches. Like I drove the boat, and then I was the guy that like checked on the gauges, and I was the guy that checked on the pedometer, and I was the guy, you know what I mean? Like I had to learn all those things. It took about, I don't know, I'd say about 2 years. And then I finally qualified enough to impress them enough to qualify for a QM, which is quartermaster, which is the guy that plots and dots on the charts. And I did that for about 3 years, and it was fun. I really enjoyed it. And on a submarine, there's no GPS. GPS doesn't go through the water. So when you're underwater, these things can stay down. The longest we ever stayed down was like 32 days without coming up, and the longest we ever went underway was 89 days. So we would stay down a long time. They're pretty autonomous. And we would do something called dead reckoning, where you take what you do know, you take the speed of the boat, the direction, the direction of the current, and you put that all together, and you extrapolate like pretty much where you are. And then you have a circle of uncertainty that keeps growing with every 15 minutes or something like that. And every couple of days, you go to periscope decks and you get it fixed, and you reset that circle of uncertainty. We don't really use that in sailing anymore because, I mean, they don't even make paper charts. NOAA stopped making them, I think, a couple years ago. You can still get them. So if you are a Luddite, you can go now and get them.
But James, what is the qualifications? How do you know? I mean, I would imagine that being in a submarine can feel very claustrophobic, almost like you're in an underwater coffin. How does the military or the Navy look at a guy like you? Is there testing to make sure you're not a psychopath, a claustrophobe, that you won't go bananas when you're under? What do they do psychologically?
Well, you have to take an ASVAB test, which is the test to get in the military, and you have to score high enough on that to be able to get into the rate that there's certain. It's just like a machine, you know. If you score between 80 and 90, this is what's open to you. If you score between 90 and 100, this is what's open to you. You can't really change that. So I scored well on the ASVAB test, and I got pretty much my pick. But the problem was I didn't have a GED or a high school diploma. So I picked it, and then they said, "Oh no, you can't. You don't have a diploma. Oh no, you can't do that." So yeah, I had to go back and get my GED, and then I could be a ET on a sub. Yeah, that's it.
Being in this, well, I would imagine that sailing underwater in a sub for extended time helps you, or at least did help you, when you're doing long runs on top of the water. A lot of that fear of isolation and being out in the middle of the nowhere, you're probably accustomed to because.
I think like the no sleep thing, the lack of sleep, I got used to that in the Navy, and that's something that happens with sailing. When you're cruising, you're often, like, even the last couple of days, I sailed from Panama to Costa Rica this weekend, and it floored me, man. I had a bunch of people on the boat that had never sailed before, so I was basically sailing it solo, and 2 days in a row with no sleep that's hard. One day is okay, but 2 days sucks.
So you're sailing the Caribbean. You're on a 36, 37 foot catamaran. I think we have it right here. Yeah, there it is. That's Zingaro. That's what you took off on your adventure with that filthy green dirty bottom because you didn't jump in and clean it during this photo. As a yacht racer myself, I'm ashamed of that photo, but I'm sure you worked on it. But
I had some fun on that boat, man.
Yeah, it's a cool boat. It's a big box. You're sailing a big tissue box on the water because it's so wide. And you're taking it all over. You and Kim, you're making all these great videos, just wonderful stuff. Everyone's getting into it. You have problems along the way, and you always show how you fix the problems, whether you snap a rudder or you need a part, and you go through how to fix it. So it's educational. But you had a lot of those little issues, and you guys decide to sail in the Pacific towards Tahiti, and you're heading towards Japan and all those places, and you're coming back and you're heading to Hawaii. And that's when disaster strikes. And what we're going to do right now, if I can get it, hang on, we're going to show what happened because honestly, dude, this would have terrified me. James was calm enough, him and Kimmy, to document this adventure coming back, heading to Hawaii.
At 0443 Hawaii Center, time the Coast Guard received a report of the sailing vessel Zingaro, a 36-foot crane catamaran with 02 persons on board, disabled and drifting about 40 nautical miles west of the Big Island. All vessels are requested to keep a sharp lookout as it's possible portal thanks to the Coast Guard. Signed, Commander, United States Coast Guard Sector Honolulu, route.
First of all, I'm James.
And I'm Kimmy. And this is our boat, Zingaro, a plywood catamaran.
3 years ago, we decided to cut the dock lines and sail her around the world. The route started in Florida and led us through the Caribbean all the way to Panama. It was tough, but the struggle was worth it because this life had so much to offer. We documented our experiences and shared them with the world via YouTube. Soon, a community formed around our videos, and what started as a journey for two turned into a journey for literally thousands. As our knowledge and confidence grew, the Caribbean became too small for us. Which is why, with the help of our supporters, we made it through the Panama Canal, and we're well on our way to visit some of the most remote islands in the South Pacific. The route we chose was demanding, and the Pacific Ocean is host to some of the biggest seas and worst weather in the world. We handled everything the sea could throw at us. It was only after 12,000 nautical miles into our Pacific Ocean travels that we ran into something that would prove to be too much for our old catamaran. At 2:30 a.m. on December 22nd, only 40 nautical miles off Hawaii's Big Island, Zingaro was hit by a 30-foot wave that tore the starboard hull away from the boat. The damage was catastrophic.
Zingaro, Coast Guard. Roger, that's a good copy, and I'll understand. If we sent a helicopter to your position to hoist you off of your vessel, would you feel comfortable leaving the vessel behind? Over.
Man, we're not going to be able to take anything on the helicopter. They don't allow you to take anything.
No, we'll wait for the boat. Well, how long is that gonna take them? I'm not going without you either.
You know, this could be the new beginning of a great adventure, babe. Maybe we fix this boat, maybe we build another one. This is...
Yes, this was the worst situation we have ever gotten ourselves into. But we did what we always do. We broke the boat, we bailed it, we fixed it, and we sailed it. What we did was James got in the water at night, mind you, and with these 30-foot waves to tie Dyneema around the separating hull. He then passed the line up to me. I put it around the winch and tightened it as much as I could as to tie the boat together, basically. That night the Coast Guard arrived and they escorted us all the way into port.
Yay, Coast Guard. Those guys were awesome. Thank you. Where are we at now? This is our boat. You can see from these videos and pictures that Zingaro's blue water sailing days are over.
We took her 25,000 miles, further than the original builder could have ever hoped for. I think for a little plywood catamaran from Nova Scotia, Hawaii is quite a nice place to retire.
And that has to bring back a lot of memories, good and bad, where you had such a great life on that boat, only to see the sea literally take it. And it's an amazing thing that you were able to jump in the water with 30-foot waves, get under the boat, and tie it all back together.
Yeah, watching that video is hard for me because I've got a bit of PTSD from that night, and it almost killed me. And it's like one of those. A lot of people don't really understand it because you've never seen or been through something like that. But the way that a catamaran works, it's got two holes, right? And then the waves are coming over, and anytime a boat gets disabled in the water, it turns sideways to the wind. So wind is here, catamaran's here, it's got two holes. And as the wave's coming over, it's pushing one hole down and pushing one hole up. So that hole that's going down is displacing a lot of water. And then as the wave comes through, it switches and sucks up. And what was happening was I was in the water, and as it was switching, it was sucking me under the boat because all that water was rushing in to go where that hull was. And then another wave would come and it would smash back down. So it was like basically trying to suck me under and crush me. I mean, there was times where I was riding it. I was grabbing the strut under the boat, just riding the cat at night with 30-foot waves. And it was so scary that it was, in retrospect, I probably wouldn't make that decision again to tie it together. We probably would have just gotten off the boat on a helicopter. But at the time, I didn't have insurance, and I had my whole life savings in that boat. And like, I knew we could fix it. I knew probably we could do it. So I jumped in the water, and I just swam as far away from the boat as I could with a line in my hand, and then swam down. I was a pretty good free diver, and swam all the way as far as I could until I ran out of breath, and then swam up, and I'd be, like 50 feet from the boat, and then I'd swim over and give her the line.
You are crazy,
it was crazy,
my friend.
It was a crazy.
Yeah, that's the craziest thing I ever heard. I wouldn't do it. No, but you end up getting that boat to Hawaii, and then what happens with you? What becomes of you and Kim?
I gave all the Coast Guard guys a big hug. I was crying. I remember I was crying that day. It was very emotional. I was so cold, dude. Because I had to get in the water 4 times. the first time I tied the boat together, it broke. It was so much force that the lines broke. And the second time I tied more lines and they broke again. And then the third time I remembered I had a big roll of Dyneema. It's this like plastic fiber that is the strongest rope known to man. It's stronger than steel for the same diameter. I tied that around it and that worked, but it started cutting. It started sawing through the boat. It was like, you know,
because it was so thin.
Yeah, you know, like if a big tanker goes down, they cut it into pieces with that big steel rope. That's just like that.
Yeah.
And so then I had to take it off again and put tubes on it to protect the boat. And it's still, I mean, if you watch, I have a video on YouTube. My channel is Sailing Zingaro, and you search taking apart my broken boat, and you can see I've got pictures and video of like this thing went into the boat like this far, in like sawed into it with the pipe, with the hose on it, with the chafing protection. So, yeah, it was crazy, man. I forgot my point now.
No, the point was, what did you do after you got rid of the boat?
Oh, yeah.
What did you do as a person with life?
We made it back to Kona, Hawaii, which is on the Big Island. And I ended up, they wanted like $2,500 a month for me to haul out there, which it was just crazy. So we sailed that broken boat 80 miles over to Maui and then put it on this guy's like crazy lift thing. And we towed it down Main Street at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I put it in my buddy's yard, and he ended up buying it. He ended up paying me $8,000 for it because it had brand new sails and it had a brand new mast track and all the lines and it had all kinds of gear on it. So I just gave it to him basically, and I learned later it got crushed up. I'm pretty sad about that, but I cried the day I sold that boat bad, and I was pretty messed up because I was on this it was a crazy time in my life because I was in 3 sailing magazines. I was on the top of my game for sailing. I had just come on this 2,500 mile journey from Tahiti through the Line Islands to Hawaii. I was supposed to cruise Hawaii. We were going to go to Japan. My YouTube channel was exploding. I had never done so well with that, and then I lost it all in one night. I didn't have a boat. I didn't have a business. I didn't have any money coming in, and my girlfriend left. And I was just like, you know, and so I went to this thing called Vipassana. Have you ever heard of Vipassana?
No, I don't know what that is.
I would absolutely recommend it to anybody that wants to kind of cleanse their soul and learn a new skill. It's a meditation retreat, and you don't eat after 11 a.m. You don't talk, and you meditate for 10 hours a day. It's freaking difficult. It sounds crazy, and it is very physically demanding. Like sitting in one spot for 2 hours is hard. And then clearing your mind is hard too, especially in the world we live in. What this Vipassana meditation teaches you to do is just clear your mind and let everything go. And it's really a good skill to have. In fact, I have the mantra tattooed on me, Anicca.
Hey, let me see that again. Let me go full screen. Let's see that tattoo again. There you go.
This is Pali. It's an extinct language, and it says Anicca, which means this too shall pass, which is the whole mantra of the entire meditation. Like everything in life is a feeling. It'll come, it'll stay for a while, and it'll go. Good, bad, whatever. So
is that the boat, Zingaro, you took to Easter Island?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, so let's take a look at that, because I don't know what's going on here, but it looks like you took this picture. This looks like some sort of native Easter Island celebration or some sort of ritual. What's going on here?
That's in the beach, Anakena of Easter Island, the only beach. That's a cool spot, man. The boat's parked right outside that on the left there. And they're doing a big festival. They have a festival like every couple months, and we just happened to be there while they did this. And so I have drone shots of that too. And they cooked a big pig under the ground. It was really, really cool. It was just a cool experience to be there and see that.
Now these guys, what do they call these statues?
Moai.
Moai. Okay. So apparently the Moai, they're not just sitting there. They're actually underneath, they're down in there deep.
Yeah.
So my question to you, James, is who built those Moai? How did they get moved? What's going on? Could it be ancient alien technology that put those there?
That's right. I forgot you're into aliens. Bobby, I miss your stories, man. That's awesome. You're still think that a sailboat is the ultimate escape vehicle for alien attack?
Obviously. And I've got it. Well, when we were in Delray, I thought it all out, because if you're an alien and you're blasting everybody, just laser beaming people left and right, they're going to have heat signatures on that alien ship. So if you start your car, they're going to know. They're going to zap you. If you've got your car battery or your boat battery on, they're going to get you. The only way to escape is under the veil of night, under sail, where you go stealthily. And Catalina Island, there's an old abandoned silver mine in Catalina Island. You anchor the boat, you get at that mine, you just hold out for a while. You'll make
Live
it.
in the mine.
Oh Jesus! I just told everybody my plan.
Everybody's gonna live in that mine with you now.
Yeah. But you got to throw a flare in first to smoke out the bats, I'm sure.
Or the other people.
But yeah, that's how you got to do it. You got to do it stealthy. Aliens are going to see you, but if you're on a sailboat at night, no power, no motor, they'll never know. They'll think you're a whale or something. Yes, of course. So, but anyhow, yeah, let's look
yeah,
at
the
that
Moai.
again.
Yeah, it might have been aliens. That's the $1 million question there in Easter Island, is how did the Moais get placed there? Because they weigh about 80 tons, and the hats on top weigh a lot too. The hats are different rock. They're a volcanic rock from a different part of the island, and all of the Moai on the entire island are carved from one volcano. It's called Ranuraku, and they're all carved from the mountain in place, and then they're in various stages on the mountain. I'm sure you guys have all seen the famous picture where like a few of them are kind of walking down the mountain. They look like they're all walking down the mountain. Well, they think that they either rocked them with ropes or that's how they went extinct. They cut down all the trees and rolled them on the trees. And then the birds stopped coming to the island, so they didn't have any birds to eat, and they all died of starvation and warred with each other. And when they found the island, it was deserted, and all those Moai were broken and on the ground. So they think what happened was there was 12 tribes, and they all started warring because of lack of food, and they all started kicking each other's Moais over, and they just all died. That's a pretty crazy story.
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that a human being back. How old are those statues?
They think they're from about 1100.
The year 1100.
Yeah.
How the heck did they move? Well, that's for another show, I guess. And we'll be having a UFO show and an alien show.
I want to be on that one.
You do?
Yeah.
Hey, have you ever seen anything weird?
Oh yeah.
At night while you're sailing out there? Anything that you're like, hey, that looks like a UFO?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
You have
a UFO. Yeah.
What'd you see?
I saw almost like a firework. I thought it was like a meteor. It looked like a meteor. And it was coming down, but then it stopped, and then it went back. Then it went up and down, and then it turned off, and then it turned back on. And I was like, man, I don't know. And that's in the middle of the water. There's just no way it could be anything else.
That was a UFO.
Well, why would it be on fire?
What was the shape? Was it tubular or round?
It was round.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but it was far away. I didn't see like a shape. I was too far away to see a shape. I just saw a piece of light.
Because a lot of I know a lot of pilots, commercial pilots, and I ask them all the time, and almost every single one of them has said they've seen something. I guess there's probably not as much of a stigma anymore about that.
Hey, you guys want to see around in Costa Rica real quick?
Yeah.
Let me. This is my new boat. This is my. I bought a monohull because I have a little bit of PTSD from this catamaran thing. But we're anchored in this bay called Herradura Bay. It's Horseshoe Bay in English.
Uh-huh.
There's all the
that's great
boats.
there.
That's my buddy. We've been buddy boating for a couple months together, Richard. And then that's the sea. Actually, you can see the other side of the Punta Arenas Bay. So we're in Horseshoe Bay. It goes around here this way, and then this on the other side is Punta Arenas Bay. It's a huge bay in Costa Rica.
Oh, this is great, dude. I'm thank you, Elon Musk, for Starlink.
Right.
Because we would have never been able to do this sort of walk around tour without him.
Well, Starlink. Yeah.
It's pretty neat. So you guys go on these adventures before hang on. Let me. There's some great fishing down there.
Oh yeah. I
And
fish
let's
almost
take,
every day, man. I'm a pretty good spear fisherman now.
let's take a. Oh, that's not fishing. What happened?
more
Where's my
moai.
fishing? Yeah, that's more moai. Hang on. There we go.
Yep,
Look at that beauty.
that's a blue jack. Good fish.
That's a blue jack. Gorgeous. And then you guys look at the size of that thing.
That's a wahoo. We caught that on the back of the boat. We didn't spear that one.
And then this picture's got to be the sexiest picture I've ever seen. I hope I'm going to call up the right one. I hope it's not you. Check this out. Oh my God, does she look fantastic?
Yeah.
That if you're a fisherman, this is your dream photo. Hot chick with a gigantic fish over her shoulder.
Yeah, we took about 100 pictures to get that one, and that fish is not light. That was like a 40-pound fish. So she was like, she couldn't hold it up very long. So we'd get like 3 pictures, and then she'd have to drop it, and then she picked it back up. So it looks super cool, but it was totally staged.
Totally staged. You're kidding me.
Yeah. We tried for like an hour.
Staged like perhaps this photo.
Yeah, that's staged too. Yep.
Is that
also in a group of probably 50 photos that I was like, well, we need some stuff because we needed some stuff for our sponsors, for
that looks like some sort of GQ modeling photo, like
awesome.
Or Ray-Ban sunglasses.
Oh, I think that was what it was for. It was for the sunglass company.
Oh, and there's one there, of course,
that's a cool
looking
photo.
like you're trying something really amazing. God knows what you're doing, but
man, I missed that boat, Bob. That boat was so fun.
But I'm glad this picture's going to be sideways. But I'm glad to see you got a new dinghy.
Oh yeah,
the old folder boat. That boat drove me crazy, and this one looks much nicer.
That is an OC tender from New Zealand. I have one right here too. I have that one. It's a cool story actually. I had this like really crappy porta boat, so it kept dying and sinking. I must have had my dinghy, my motor underwater like 12 times, and I called this company OC Tenders, and they said, yeah, we'll give you a dinghy, sure, you're doing it. And man, it was like night and day. And then when my boat broke, I didn't have anything to do with the dinghy. I didn't want to leave it like with my buddy or put it in storage. So I found a Kiwi that was going to New Zealand, and I was like, hey, take this dinghy with you. And he worked it out with the company, and he brought it all the way back to New Zealand. They took it, refurbished it, and sold it to a local fisherman. So no leaky, which is what I called it. It lives on, and this is no leaky too. It's a little bit bigger than the other one, but yeah, they're cool boats.
But I tell you, some of the ports you've been into are so beautiful. Tell me where this is right there.
That's on the west side of Tahiti. There's about 200 boats in there. You can see the big marina. That was a cool place. Moorea is just to the right. Oh my God, I swam with whales multiple times there in Moorea. There's a bunch of like
now to the right. That's a reef that I'm looking at. I would imagine that's not very deep. It looks pretty shallow.
Yeah, very shallow. You can see the boats are right on the edge of it. They're in probably 6 feet of water. All the boats on the edge, and then it drops down to about 20 feet all the way through. It's just a cool place for boats because it's got that protective reef that goes all around it. You can see the waves breaking on the outside of the protective reef, and then there's a little channel that goes through, and that's how Tahiti is. It's like this huge protected reef, and then little channels that go through it, and you can get your boat through those channels and bring them on the inside of the reef, and then you can go all the way around the island on the inside. It's like if you designed an island perfect for boats, that's how you do it.
Wow, beautiful. And you've seen it all. You've documented it all. You've got your YouTube show. You probably started off, with a few people, and it exploded, and now literally tens of thousands of people are watching every video you pump out.
Yeah, it's been a while since I put any content out, so I'm not getting a lot of I'm just not trying on the channel for a while. I took a little bit of a break. I decided after 7 years of doing it every week that I needed a break, and so I started a company doing adventure charters. So I've been my plan is to go around Cape Horn and I've been doing it for about 5 months now, and I love it. It's nice. The only thing is, I thought I would do some kind of hybrid of a little bit of YouTube and a little bit of this, but it's so much work to have the people on the boat and to be attentive that I just put the YouTube channel on hold for a little while. I'll get back to it, and I have been filming everything, but it's just nice to be able to take a break and not have to worry, not have to have the stress of YouTube, and actually be able to experience it all. It's just a different kind of experience, really. Yeah, it's good.
Well, you're going around Cape Horn, and I want to remind you again that during the 1800s, only 33% of the boats that went around it made it. 66%. Now, having said that, those were big log wooden, frigates and stuff. You're in a modern, strong sailboat. I'm sure you'll be fine, but just in case, you might want to include me in your will.
For what, man? Everything's in the boat. If the boat goes down, you get nothing.
Oh, you know what I'll end up probably getting stuck with is a funeral bill. Never mind. Let's not do that.
Yeah, I have an oyster now. So I went from a very light 6-ton catamaran to a very heavy 24-ton monohull boat, and I like this boat a lot better. It's the motion on it's better. I'm gonna do a video about this. I still haven't done a video about why I chose a monohull over a cat, because not many people go backwards like that from cat to mono. But yeah, I like it a lot better. And yeah, the Cape Horn thing, I mean, not a lot of people die on Cape Horn anymore, but it's purported to be the biggest graveyard in the world. Like more than 10,000 sailors are under there, and probably a lot of gold.
There's a lot of gold, and they can't get to it. The water's too rough. The water's too deep. So tell me more about these, how people can get involved with these adventure cruises with you. I mean, that sounds great.
So if you go to sailingzingaro.com, you can see that my schedule and where we've been, where we're going. We're on schedule. We're still chugging. We're leaving. We're actually leaving for Galapagos in 2 days. My crew flies in tomorrow. As soon as this is over, I'm going to the capital city via taxi, and I'm going to pay for Isla del Coco, which Isla del Coco is an awesome spot, man. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's a shark sanctuary. There's all kinds of sharks there. Tiger sharks, hammerhead sharks, Galapagos sharks, bull sharks. And then we're basically hopping from Isla del Coco, Galapagos, Easter Island, Chile, and then we have 4 months in Chile around Cape Horn. We're going to Antarctica, dude.
Antarctica.
Did I tell you that?
No, you didn't tell me.
Yeah. We're going. I'm not selling that passage. I'm just taking professional sailors on that one. But yeah, we're gonna cross the Drake Passage, and we're gonna go to Deception Island in Antarctica.
So wait a minute. Do you have clothes for Antarctica? Do you have a snowsuit? Do you have some boots?
No, I have to get all that stuff, but I have time. I don't have anything. I have a set of fowlies, and I have a knit cap, and I have a wool sweater.
I've seen those guys, the way they dress down there. You're going to need a full setup, man.
Well, we're going to go in the dead of summer. It's going to be like January 1st when we go there. So summer switched on the southern hemisphere.
Yeah, that's so weird. January 1st, I'm not leaving the house. January 1st, you're sailing around Cape Horn. Crazy.
Yeah.
But people could go on your site. They could check the calendar. They can book a trip with you, and you'll play guitar for them. They'll eat nicely. A ton of fish, like we showed earlier in the photos.
Yeah.
And
we eat
and all kinds of.
We eat very, very well. Smoothies in the morning, a lot of fresh fruit and vegetables, and we're basically pescatarians. I mean, I cook chicken and beef for the crew if they want it, but I don't have a lot of freezer space, even on a 50-foot boat. There's not enough to have like a steak every night for everybody. So we fish off the boat and we spearfish, and that's kind of our sustenance. And then there's 4 spots on the boat. To make it comfortable, I don't sell more than 4, and yeah, they're pretty tight knit, cool, close quasi charters. I tell people it's not a charter, it's an experience, because you're going to help with dishes, you're going to be part of the crew, you're going to pull lines, it's going to be sailing. I'm not going to be waiting on you making drinks for you.
Right. You make them do the work, much like I did to you when you took sailing lessons.
That's right. And let's just be honest, Bob, when you took me for sailing lessons, I remember that you were just sitting on your boat chilling, drinking beer, and not really teaching me much. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? What is that? And he's like, oh, you'll learn that on your second lesson, no problem.
But you learned how to sail, because sailing is a hands-on experience. I can teach you theory. I can give you the ASA book. I can sit down, but to talk to you, and I would talk to you. It's not like I just went down and took a nap and gave you the tiller. But I would talk to you. You would feel it. You know, when a gust of wind hits its sail, you start to get a lift, and the boat wants to go into the wind so it can kill itself, so it can stop sailing. It wants to go into the wind so it can luff, and you got to control the boat. And I always said, you control the boat doesn't control you. And you learned that with me, and that's how you have to do it. You have to be hands-on.
One thing that you told me that I'll never forget, that I use still today when I teach other people, is you would say you need to fill the wind with the sails with wind. You need to fill the sails with wind. And at the time, I didn't know what you were talking about. Like, okay, well, I don't know what that means. Like, make the wind go. But now I totally understand it. You need to shape the sail so it's not luffing all around. You need to shape it so it's a wing, and so it's always filled with wind. And when you move and it starts moving around, then you need to just mess with everything until it's a wing again. That's pretty much all the sailing is. It's not very difficult.
Yeah, but there is a difference between sailing and sailing fast, and that's my expertise. As you know, I was the 3-time Los Angeles champion.
Yeah, you're a badass.
Yeah, I was a badass. Remember how they hated the name of? I had a 27-foot sailboat, and its name was Blow Me.
I love that boat.
And the other sailors, the rich, snooty millionaires and TV producers, they hated it, and they really hated it when I would get in front of them, and they'd have to look at my Blow Me logo all around the race course.
And then when you would win, they would say Blow Me Down. They wouldn't say the real name.
That was a California yacht club. They were the only yacht club that made me call it Blow Me Down. Everyone else loved Blow Me.
That's hoity-toity as hell, man. They'd love the oyster there, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. They'd love that boat because they'd think that, you're some fat cat, and they'd give you a free initiation to the club. Yeah, I know how they work over there. But I loved beating those Cal Yacht Club people. They were my enemies. All of them.
I remember being with you one time. I don't like racing, to tell you the truth. I just like chilling, making a sandwich, turning on the autopilot, watching the stars. But Bob was on the radio like every 10 seconds, like, you asshole, you were over. You get intense, man.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't monkey around. I got scars all over my legs to prove it, from passions, into winch handles and stuff like that. But you were on a race with me. I know exactly what it was. You probably threw it away. You, me, your ex-girlfriend, Kate, my ex-girlfriend, Liza. We were in the Robert Baker race. Do you remember this?
Yeah, that was the one.
We went out and raced, and I gave you the trophy.
Oh, did you? Oh, that's
right. The little.
No, you know what happened to that trophy? It burned down.
Oh no, we didn't even talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
that burned down.
So James bought a 28-foot Islander, and I looked at it with him, and the interior of this boat had the nicest wood I've ever seen. Mahogany, beautiful, not a nick shine. It was beautiful. It looked like Liberace's house.
Yeah, it was a nice.
It was that nice. And so James was living on that boat, and he was off the boat, and he hired a guy, we'll keep his name out of it, to work on the engine.
I don't even remember.
Pardon me. I didn't trust that guy. I saw him around.
He tried to sue me, dude. Did I tell you that?
Yeah.
He tried to sue me. He burned my boat down. He tried to sue me.
So this guy, he's working in the cockpit, working on the boat, and he pulls the carburetor off, which of course is what feeds the gas, with a fully lit cigarette in his mouth.
Yeah, that's what happened.
There's an explosion, blows this guy into Marina Del Rey into the water. James's entire boat just melts, burns to a crisp, burns the docks, burned a little bit of the boat next to you.
No, burned the
and then the
boat.
guy.
That was a total loss. That boat burned the dock.
Yeah. Oh, it was a mess. And then the guy has the audacity to try to sue you for smoking while he's working on your fuel system.
Yeah.
And you ended up getting smoke inhalation and ended up in the Daniel Freeman Hospital.
That's right. Yep.
And I was the one that brought you books to read and some McDonald's.
Thanks,
Do you
buddy.
remember that?
I do remember that.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah,
appreciate
'cause
that. Yeah, I went to
you
visit.
were-
First thing I did was I went to visit him and made sure he was okay.
Yeah.
And then he told me he was going to sue me. So I was like, oh, okay, well, screw you then. And then I went down to my boat, and it was still, it's like kind of smoldering. And I went inside it to see if I could get anything out of it. And it was, you know, it had like 3 feet of water in it, and they had used this stuff called AFFF, aqueous film forming foam, and everything was toast, man. I had an old gun my dad gave me from like the 40s. That thing was gone. Oh, you know what? My guitar survived. I had it in a hard case, and I don't know how, but it survived.
What a miracle.
Everything else,
but that was
toast.
That was such a mess of a scene, man.
Yeah,
that was terrible.
Yeah. Don't ever go in a burnt
boat.
boat, by the way. I got pneumonia from that, from the fiberglass fumes. It was not a good idea.
Yeah, that's why you were in the hospital. You looked like you were terrible.
Yeah.
But so anyhow, so you and Kim go after a few years, go your separate ways. Sweet girl. I'm sure you guys are still friends.
I love Kimmy. I'll always have a special place in my heart for Kimmy. We almost died together.
Yeah. But you know, Kim was very instrumental in a lot of the videos that you made. She helped out. She knew how to edit.
She
knew
edited
all that stuff.
like about 70% of the videos. I figured it out later.
She was sharp.
Yeah, she's
And
a cool
so
girl.
what I like about your show, and again, people can check it out on YouTube. Just go to Sailing Zingaro and you'll see everything. But what I like about your shows is not only do you give a travel log, you know, you show how you get there and any problems, but when you get there, you show what's going on, you show the community, and you'll tell the history, and you do it in such a way that is just so fun to watch. And I got to hand it to you. Your editing and shooting skills are great, and I've been doing it for 40 years, and you do a really nice job. I'm proud of you with that.
Appreciate it.
And I want to show everyone a little example of what you do when you get into these different ports and different villages and everything that you break down. It's really fascinating. So we're going to take a look at that right now.
Oh my God.
I did it again, James.
Oh, you put the wrong one.
Hang on, here we go. So,
Oh my God, the belt blew. This line exploded.
Boat life can be hard sometimes, and the quote, everything breaks, starts to make sense as soon as you step foot on a vessel. And any little problem that seems easy to fix will probably take half your day, making you feel that you're on edge. But that's just part of the adventure, and the reward is too big to ever get disappointed. Because sailing is a magical experience. When you hoist the sails for the first time and feel the wind power pushing you towards your destination, you feel free. I believe that sailing is responsible for shaping the person I am on and off the water, and I wouldn't change that for anything.
And what do you think about being in paradise?
I love it.
Oh my God, the belt blew. Okay, we lost the belt. Looks like it's getting chewed up by something. Looks like it just jumped off for some reason. Oh, that's why. It broke the bolt holding it in. What happened? The alternator bolt here, that bolt is broken. So that's the one that I put in there to keep the new alternator in there, and it broke. The alternators fell down sideways, boom, and then the belt snapped off. It still had water in it. The good part is it still had water in it. If it didn't have water in it, it would be toast. But let's see what happened.
We finally made it to the stunning Gunayala, most commonly known as San Blas Islands. The archipelago is formed by numerous islands, one for every day of the year, and it's bounded to the northwest of Panama by the Caribbean Sea. They are renowned for their glistening white sandy beaches, waving palm trees, crystal clear waters, and pristine reefs. These islands cheat no one's version of paradise. It's home to 51 communities of indigenous people known as the Gunas that make their living from hunting, fishing, and the production of molas, colorful tapestry and clothing made by women. They still live as their ancestors did, dwelling in small wooden shacks covered with palm leaves, with logs smoldering in the fireplaces and hammocks as the only furniture. It looks too perfect to be real. So we made it to the Sunbloss Islands.
Hermoso. Qué increíble cómo las personas viven ahí.
The crew awakens.
Good morning.
And what do you think about being in paradise?
I love it. Just met a guy on a boat. He's gonna bring us some coconuts. Mwah.
Yeah, I can't wait for coconuts. The coconuts here are some of the best in the world. Heidi, you feeling better?
Yes.
Last night was a good night's sleep or bad?
Good, very good. Thank you for this quiet place here.
No problem.
Yeah.
Heidi got a little sick last night because we were rolling pretty good. There was no wind. We had the motor here the whole way. But it wasn't too bad. And when we got here, this is all protected by reef. So all of this in here, this is all coral reef in here. It goes out to about that island and then extends just a little farther. So we've got so much reef. Nestor lives over there with his mom and dad, and he went to get us some coconuts. What a nice guy.
Hello.
Hi guys. Are these your children?
Yes.
What are your names? Marlenis. Nice to meet you, Marlenis. So your name is Nestor, right?
Yeah.
I think I met you last time I was here. You talk to all the cruisers, right? That come in here. I bought some water from you last time.
Wait.
Oh, look at those coconuts. They look perfect. Oh my gosh.
Hey, you know need the Kuna flag?
Kuna flag?
Yeah.
How much is it?
$10.
Oh, I do want a Kuna flag.
Oh.
And the coconuts are still $2 each, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, very cool, man.
This is for the flag. Yeah.
Did you make it?
This is the making of my mother-in-law.
Oh shoot, there's two. Can you hold it open for me? Oh, I love it.
The flag, the island flag.
Yeah, very cool.
Flag.
What does it mean? Do you know the meaning of the...
I have the second flag. This is the revolution flag.
Yeah?
But this is only for the island.
I love it. It's very pretty. The Guna Revolution was an uprising by the Kuna Indians to declare independence from the Panamanian authorities who were attempting to force them to adopt Hispanic culture by military action. This was in February 1925. Traditionally, before Panama's declaration of independence from Colombia in 1903, the Kuna Indians were able to cooperate with the Colombian government and live peacefully by their own laws and customs. The Kuna felt that the revolution was crucial for their ethnic survival, as the laws implemented by the new Panamanian government directly impacted traditional Kuna education, dress, and customs. Following mediation by the United States, the Guna reunited with Panama and, with the support of the government, created an autonomous territory called the Guna-Yala District for the indigenous inhabitants, which they would rule themselves. The revolution flag uses ancient symbols for the Kuna culture, a swastika. For them, the cross means that there are Kunas in the north, south, east, and west, and a Kuna is never alone.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That is cool, and that's just a portion of what you do, which is really informative, and I think it makes people want to go to these places. I have one question, though. That boat that came up with Nestor and those two tiny children, I don't think I saw a single life jacket on that boat.
No, they don't use life jackets. They're water people, man. The Kuna. They're very small people too. That's why they're tiny.
But I don't care if they're water people. People can still sink.
Most of the world doesn't use life jackets like we do.
No? That little guy, he was 22 years old, I believe.
Yeah. Oh man, I miss you, buddy.
Yeah, but you know we were talking about the swastika the other day. Most people don't realize that the swastika was not originally a Nazi design.
Yeah, it's old.
Even going back, the Dalai Lama has a swastika behind him. It's an ancient symbol. It's not, Hitler kind of screwed it up for everybody.
Yeah, he defamed it. But the swastika is a really old kind of religious symbol. It's pretty cool. I didn't know that either, actually. I wondered. I mean, I kind of figured, but I wondered why they used that, and it turns out it's a very, very old symbol.
I mean, is there no length to the things Hitler screwed up? Right. Hitler totally ruined a perfectly good mustache style. Before Hitler had it, Charlie Chaplin had it, Laurel and Hardy had it. You're never going to see that mustache again.
No,
ever.
Nobody would dare wear that.
No, what a jerk. I hate him. Yeah. So what we talked about what's next. You're going to be bolting to Antarctica and around the Horn, and I'd love to get you up here in Ohio. In the next couple of years, all right, I've got a plot for you. I've got a trip. Next couple of years, if I pick up like a 30-foot boat, we should sail across Lake Erie, across Lake Ontario, get into the locks, get into the St. Lawrence Seaway. And originally I thought it'd be kind of cool to sail all the way the Seaway and out to Nova Scotia. But you know what? We could just go to Quebec. It's right on the water there and party like rock stars.
I'll do that for sure. Yeah, that's part of the Great Circle Loop, right?
Is it the Circle Loop or the Continental Loop?
I don't know the difference. I'm not sure, but yeah, I'll do that. I've always wanted to. I've never cruised in the States. I've never done the intercoastal. I've never done any of that. So I'd love to do that. Sailing in freshwater would be a change.
Well, we're here on Lake Erie, and when you're on it, it looks like the ocean. The only difference, because it's so big, the only difference with Lake Erie is in California, your wave action was generated by tide usually, unless it was super windy. But you had some nice 14, 15-second intervals between waves. It was smoother. Here, everything, for the most part, is wind generated. And if you get wind, you're getting waves from everywhere. And your boat's it's like a washing machine when it's rough here. You'll come back after sailing on a rough day and you'll be like, man, I need a nap and a banana. Yeah. I mean, you're a wreck.
Yeah.
And by the way, those coconuts look great. I'm sure they were delicious when you got a hold of them.
Yeah, coconuts are, a lot of people don't realize coconuts can differ from island to island. It's not like all coconuts are created equal. Coconuts can differ from tree to tree. So the ones that they have in the San Blas are really, really good. Yeah.
That's amazing. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to put in my, don't forget, we got to talk about our sponsors real quick, James.
Yes, sir. I got to go, buddy. I got a taxi's waiting for me.
And you're off to San Jose.
Yes, sir. I'm getting permission to go to Isla del Coco, and then we're going to Galapagos, and then we're heading from Galapagos to Easter Island, Puerto Montt, Chile. I've got 3 months in Patagonia, which is going to be epic on a sailboat. And I'm selling spots for all those trips. So if you guys want to join me, it's sailingzingaro.com. Go check it out.
Hey, if I come down, do I have to pay for that trip?
Oh no, man. You just pay for your food and your cigarettes.
That could be thousands of dollars.
I don't allow smoking on the boat though, so you might not want to come. You'd have to quit smoking.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah, sorry. It's a hard, fast rule, man.
That's all right. I'm not smoking now anyhow. So there you go.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
All right. Thank you for your time. It's been a pleasure seeing you in Costa Rica and seeing you again. And Starlink.
It's been a beautiful, beautiful time talking to you, Bob. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And Starlink will keep us connected. So we will, if you don't mind, we'd like to maybe when you go to Antarctica, we'll drop in again because that would be super interesting.
Super cool. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, James. Thank you so much, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
Peace, love, bro.
All right. That was James Evenson, celebrity sailor. I taught him how to sail. He knew nothing prior to me. And now he's sailing around the world. I hope you like some of the adventures and, some of the videos that he provided. They're really neat. The pictures are great. And he's doing it. And he's got a successful YouTube channel. He, as long as he keeps making videos, he doesn't have to work again. He just cashes in on that cow. By the way, I want to thank some of my sponsors. G-Licious Pizza. Oh my gosh. Get the barbecue chicken pizza. They're the home of the Big Dill Pizza. Lake Laser Engraving in Menor Headlands and the IGA Plaza. They do all my laser work. And let's not forget the Red Hawk Grill with the largest patio in Lake County. Always fun in the summertime. And then you've got Embers Fireplaces on Menor Avenue. Go see Ben Holt. Their fireplaces are fantastic. And they also sell barbecue grills. And it's that time of season. And the Great Treasure Warehouse in the Great Lakes Mall. If you want to find any kind of product, they've got a 1,600 square foot store now. And finally, my good buddy Bob and the people at the Great Scott Tavern in Euclid. If you're hungry, that's where you want to go. Folks, tune in with me tomorrow and every day right here for the Morning Smack. It's been a pleasure seeing you once again. And for now, let me get my next thing. I got to go. I love you. I'll see you later. Bye.